The damaging effects of Hurricane Michael have been far-reaching, and one Ole Miss student has seen the destruction firsthand.
Coming up, we'll take a look at how she is handling the devastation and trying to help in the recovery effort.
Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Kassidy Biss.
And I'm Conley.
Yesterday, we shared work from our special report, Mississippi Mission Hurricane Michael. We shared how Ole Miss alums are dealing with Michael's aftermath and even shared how members of the Oxford community are helping with the recovery effort.
But one Ole Miss student from Panama City traveled down to her hometown this weekend to see the destruction for herself. NewsWatch reporter Abby McIntosh tells us how she's coping.
I don't really know how to put it into words. It's just surreal.
Ole Miss junior Kerrigan Harriet made the trip from Oxford to her childhood home this weekend to see family and Hurricane Michael's damage. For Harriet, the last 2 weeks have been stressful, especially when she heard the monster storm was headed to Panama City and her dad wasn't able to evacuate.
So I called my dad and I was like, hey, are you leaving? And he's like, I can't, I'm trapped, I can't go anywhere. I'm just gonna have to wait it out, there's nothing I can do. So, you know, I'm freaking out. I'm in Oxford, 500 miles away. You know, my mom and sister are fine because they left, but you know, my dad, you know, my dogs, everywhere that I grew up, basically, for my like teenage years is in danger.
Being 500 miles away, Harriet says waiting was the hardest part, but nothing prepared her for what she saw once she was actually home.
I've seen pictures over the course of the past 2 weeks, and I kind of had an idea of what to expect, but pictures are not doing any of this justice, and I'm here 2 weeks after it.
After seeing pictures of what Michael did to her city, Harriet says she felt the need to help.
Being in Oxford, I felt very helpless, so we gathered about $300 worth of supplies and brought them down here.
But after Michael ripped through the area and Harriet knew her family was okay, she couldn't help but release the emotions she was holding in.
Like, someone asked me how was my family and just broke down and just so happy and relieved. Like, we got lucky, and you know, that's all I can say is just we got lucky.
Harriet spent most of her time working in the mall right behind me when she was in high school. She says coming home, even if it was just for this weekend, gave her the closure she's been needing to move forward. In Panama City, Abby McIntosh, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
If you'd like to help victims of Hurricane Michael, you can donate food and water items, building supplies, children's items to Lafayette Middle School or to the Oxford Lafayette Chamber of Commerce through this Thursday. You can also donate to the Red Cross on their website or by calling 1-800-453-7669. The minimum online donation is $10. Some Ole Miss organizations are getting their pink on today as they prepare to host a breast cancer walk. NewsWatch reporter Andranita Williams is live from the Circle to tell us how they hope to raise awareness for this disease. Andranita?
That's right, Kassidy. I'm here at the Lyceum Circle where the event will begin. The members of Esteem in the Oxford community are preparing to tell breast cancer to step aside.
It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Esteem has decided to go pink. The group partnered with other organizations on campus to host a breast cancer walk. President Shantirika Hutt says she is blessed to give back.
It took a lot of planning to do. This is our second year actually doing it, and then it makes you kind of feel blessed at the same time that you're able to be in the position to actually give back to the Oxford Lafayette community.
According to Hunt, last year's donations went to a larger organization, but this year the money will be donated closer to home.
A big difference is where's the donations going to. Last year we decided to donate to a bigger cancer foundation, but this year we actually donate to a foundation in Oxford.
The walk will start at 6 p.m. in the Lyceum Circle and will end on the steps. Member Lenny Stevenson finally has the chance to do something positive.
Being able to do something for a good cause in the Oxford community, I have never done that before. Breast cancer awareness is something that I'm always wanting to give back to because it's such a serious cause. And just being on campus doing something positive is always great.
Zakiria Vance is also a member of Esteem. This is her first year participating in the walk, and she feels great.
Well, good and happy because it's like we're doing something for the community and for the people who've gone through such a struggle in their life, and it feels good to do something good for other people.
A balloon release will happen when the participants reach the last destination, which is the Lyceum Steps. Reporting live at the Lyceum Circle, Andranita Williams, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Thanks, Andranita. Governor Phil Bryant has condemned a tweet made by an Ole Miss sociology professor. 3 weeks ago, Professor James Thomas made a tweet urging citizens to harass senators. Governor Phil Bryant responded to the tweet by saying there is no place in a civilized society, and particularly on a college campus, for urging individuals to harass anyone. Chancellor Vitter also spoke out on the issue, stating that while I passionately support free speech, I condemn statements that encourage acts of aggression. Since the tweet, many groups have called for Thomas to be fired, but the university has not released a statement regarding any further action. The ASB Election Reform Task Force is hosting its first forum where students can provide input on how to improve campus election processes. The task force was created shortly after former ASB Attorney General Catherine Sistrunk resigned, which was due to her belief that candidates who are backed by Greek organizations are given more benefits than non-Greek candidates. The forum is tonight at 7 p.m. in Bishop Hall in room 209.
Ole Miss has been ranked 4th best university in the state according to personal finance website WalletHub. Mississippi College, William Carey University, and Millsaps College took the top 3 spots. WalletHub used 30 key measures to compare schools, and the key measurements were grouped then into categories, which included student selectivity, cost and financing, and career outcomes. Mississippi State did not place on the top 10 list. UPD is still searching for the sexual battery that occurred Saturday on University Avenue within campus boundaries. Investigators are not releasing more specific location at this time. The suspect was described as a young white male with brown hair. He was wearing a red polo shirt, possibly made of dry-fit material. This investigation is ongoing, and we will continue to update you as more information becomes available.
Oxford law enforcement is participating in Take Back Day this weekend. The day is about preventing drug addiction and overdose deaths. According to the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, the majority of people who abuse prescription medications that this year got them from family and friends in their home medicine cabinets. Collection sites for unused prescriptions will be at the Oxford Police Department and the University Police Department this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Some librarians on campus want more content at no cost. NewsWatch reporter Brianna Bynum joins us in the studio to tell us how they are preparing for International Access Week. Brianna?
Thanks, Lauren. It's Open Access Week for the Ole Miss libraries, which means they're spreading awareness about this process that makes research more accessible by providing more options and free content. The Ole Miss libraries are hosting Open Access Week in support of making online research more accessible. Librarian Jason Burton says having open access would provide better research options in not only the databases that are accessible through the school.
So one of the things about academic research is it's really limited to what a library subscribes to or what an individual might subscribe to. So we subscribe to thousands of journals, but open access opens that research up to anybody, be it a student at University of Mississippi or anybody anywhere around the world. So open access means that really anybody in the world has access to it.
Burton says although the idea of open access is new to the university, it has been around for quite some time.
It's about 15 years old as a movement, but there are antecedents to it that are 20 plus years old, but 30 years old at this point. So Open Access Week at Mississippi, though, what we're trying to do is just sort of introducing some topics, introducing some of the services we offer related to open access, and just sort of building awareness about it.
Having open access in the library databases would mean research would be free for the university, and librarian Christian Rogers says she supports this idea.
So we're having to look, especially here at University of Mississippi Libraries, of ways to get content without spending more money. And open access is one way that we can do that.
Norton says some think open access files aren't as reliable as other academic work that is published, but he doesn't agree.
See something that's open access, it's almost assuredly just as good as a journal article or book from any other place.
Burton worked at a previous university that had open access and considers having it an advantage. One reason he hopes to see open access at Ole Miss. There will be events the entire week for open access, so if you're interested in learning more about it, see the flyers posted around the library. Kassidy, Lauren, back to you.
Thanks, Brianna. Coming up, find out what President Trump has recently said about the migrant caravan heading to the U.S.
And stay tuned to see the latest hurricane development and how it could impact Texas. But first, Gavin Norton has your first look at the current conditions.
Weather headlines for this week include some cooler temperatures, and with that is going to come high humidity and some cloud cover is going to continue through the rest of the week. If you want to take a look at a live radar image, we can see that Oxford is not suffering any excitement, nor is anything in the surrounding area, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be any weather. More of that coming up next on Storm Watch.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie.
Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
So, I'm kinda new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Here she comes. I, Krista, take you, Jamie, to be my wife.
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said she won't be taking you in as a client.
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
Migrants remain focused on their marathon effort. Thousands of Central Americans move towards the U.S. border in search of a better future, but things could get dicey if they reach their destination. Roughly 7,000 migrants are in southern Mexico marching north towards the U.S. However, there's a roadblock hundreds of miles ahead.
We got to stop them at the border.
In a series of tweets yesterday, President Trump said he would declare a national emergency over the migrant caravans.
You're going to find MS-13, you're going to find Middle Eastern, you're going to find everything. And guess what? We're not allowing them in our country.
We have 10 individuals suspected or known terrorists that try to enter our country illegally every day. This is a problem that the president's been talking about for a long time, and certainly one he wants to see addressed.
There are no official reports that suggest Middle Easterners are in the caravans. Critics say the president is overreacting.
He's making it sound like they're breaking through the border. This is hysteria on his part. Let him calm down and do what we were supposed to do.
President Trump also says he'll reduce funds to 3 Central American countries because of the caravan.
And that aid that we do have helps them with law enforcement, drug interdiction, and programs to help that population stay there. And cutting those programs indiscriminately, those benefit us as well.
During a rally for Senator Ted Cruz last night in Houston, President Trump referred to himself as a nationalist. Breaking about an hour ago, President Trump is revoking visas for Saudi officials over the Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi's death. Turkey's President Erdogan has addressed the parliament earlier today. He says he's discussed the investigation with President Trump and they agreed to reveal all aspects.
On the 21st of October, I had a detailed phone conversation with President Trump, and we were in agreement that the matter had to be clarified in every respect. As Turkey, we have carried out this process in accordance with law and international principles.
Saudi's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman attended a global investment summit in his home country despite international outrage over Khashoggi's death. It is suspected that the Crown Prince was behind the murder.
Retired Justice Sandra Day O'Connor has been diagnosed with dementia. O'Connor was the first woman to sit on the Supreme Court and was appointed by President Ronald Reagan in 1981. She retired in 2006 to care for her husband, who was battling Alzheimer's. She also called out for more research on the disease and spoke about the challenges that face caregivers. O'Connor stated that she is no longer able to participate in public life, but will continue to live in Phoenix near family and friends. U.S. stocks have been shaken today as two industrial giants are slowing down in production. The Dow dropped nearly 400 points this morning, but recovered by 300 points by the closing bell. Heavy equipment manufacturer Caterpillar says that its business growth could slow down, which will create a higher cost of steel. 3M, a global conglomerate, also reported that there is a slowing sales growth and is lowering its outlook for the year. The economy is being hit by fears with the Chinese economy is slowing, uncertainty over the upcoming midterm elections, and rising interest rates.
How do you say venti mocha latte in sign language? Starbucks customers in Washington, D.C. know the answer. The first American sign language Starbucks opened up blocks away from the world's only liberal arts university for the deaf, Gallaudet University. Every barista in the store is fluent in ASL to serve the large deaf community in D.C. If you visit the store, you'll notice Starbucks mugs printed with ASL fingerspelling, murals painted by deaf artists, and there's also no ambient music in the background of the store.
There's millions and then there's billions. That's how much is at stake in tonight's Mega Millions drawing. If you win, the jackpot is worth $1.6 billion, which is a payout of about $900 million. Each ticket costs $2, but your chances of winning the mega prize are slim to none. About 1 in 302 million. That's the same as being bitten by a shark and struck by lightning at the same time. No one has won the jackpot since July 24th, and if nobody wins the prize tonight, the jackpot only gets bigger. Hurricane Willa is a major Category 3 hurricane headed towards the Mexican Pacific coast, and her impacts could be felt here in the United States. Willa is threatening destructive winds and life-threatening storm surge and flooding rain. Willa reached Category 5 status yesterday, but has since downgraded. Officials are preparing for widespread tree damage, power outages, and structural damage, similar to what the Florida Panhandle saw with Hurricane Michael. Moisture from Willa will move into parts of Texas later this week. Willa is expected to make landfall later tonight.
Well, it has been another beautiful day in Oxford, and I'm really loving this fall weather.
Me too, Kassidy. It's coming out. It's just in time for the holidays. That's great. Coming up, we'll hear what Gavin Norton will let us know about the cool temperatures.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
Welcome back to Stormwatch. I'm Gavin Norton. Right now we're sitting at a comfortable 65 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's partly cloudy and very low winds with no chance of rain. Now if we want to take a move on, we can see that the satellite image shows that there is something going on in the middle of the state, towards the southern of the state, but again, that's really not going to affect us. We have very low chances of rain in the next coming days. To show you what it looks like regionally, though, we can see that over in Oxford, we're going to be among the average, sitting at the high 60s for today, and that's also going to continue for tomorrow. We see the weather is not going to get very high. The highest it gets is over here in Tupelo, but that's only 71 degrees. If we want to see what we're going to look like coming up tonight, we can see that it's only 44 degrees, so a little bit chilly, but again, no rain, or very low chance of rain rather, and no wind to really impede and make it too cold or too unbearable. Tomorrow's temperatures are a little more promising. We're going to get up to 68 degrees, and again, no rain and very low winds coming from the north-northeast. An extended look will show us that over the next 5 days, the temperature is unlikely to get very high once again. We will see some rain Thursday and Sunday, but overall, nothing too unbearable. So that's back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Gavin. Coming up, find out which former Ole Miss quarterback is in hot water after being arrested.
And see what head coach Matt Luke says on how the team looks to improve in their bye week next.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out. Good night.
And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Action.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I bought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Welcome back to Sports Watch. I'm Torry Rees. If you thought you've had a bad night, it couldn't have been much worse than former Ole Miss quarterback Chad Kelly's. The Denver Broncos backup was arrested early this morning. He was charged with first-degree trespassing after a couple found him sitting on their couch. There had been some speculation that Kelly had been attending former fellow Broncos teammate Von Miller's Halloween party before the arrest. Despite all of the theatrics that came off the field from Kelly during his time at Ole Miss, this is actually his first arrest since his time at Clemson. Broncos GM John Elway said that he is going to look into this, as the charges are very, very serious. As for the Ole Miss football team, currently they earned their third SEC loss after playing just 4 games so far this season in the SEC. But head coach Matt Luke remains optimistic on their using this bye week for self-reflection.
This is a really needed this open date. It's a good time for us for self-evaluation. Get some guys healed up for this stretch run. Got 4 games coming up in 19 days, so very important stretch for us. So big week for us, self-evaluation, looking at things that we've done well, things we haven't done well. Also a time for us to get some guys healthy, try to get some guys back.
Well, despite this optimism, the 2 seasons under Matt Luke have resulted in back-to-back 1-3 starts in the SEC. Ole Miss will have their next home game against South Carolina on November 3rd. Breaking news out of the NFL as the Giants have finally traded Eli Apple. Ole Miss fans could take a sigh of relief as it's not Eli Manning who's getting shipped off yet. Apple was traded to the New Orleans Saints for a 4th rounder and a 7th rounder next year earlier today. Apple had continuous troubles with Giants teammates and the front office. Teammate Landon Collins mentioned at the end of last season that he was a quote-unquote cancer on the team. Rather than letting him play out the rest of the season, the Giants decided to move on from the former for a first-round pick. This is now the 2nd former first-round pick that the Giants have gotten rid of this season alone. Well, the stage is set for the biggest event of all of baseball, the World Series. The Boston Red Sox host the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight at 7:09 Central Time. The Red Sox have been on a tear this year, winning a franchise record 108 games and cruising through the postseason by beating 200-plus win teams in a span of 9 games. They'll have their ace Chris Sale on the mound as they'll try to win their 4th World Series in 15 years and the first since 2013. For the Dodgers, they've been fighting for their postseason lives as they've started out 16-26 at the beginning of the season and needed to win a 163rd game to even advance to the playoffs. They didn't beat 2 division winners in Atlanta and Milwaukee to get to back-to-back championship appearances. They'll lean on star Clayton Kershaw to win their first World Series since 1988. Fun fact here, both managers Dave Roberts and Alex Cora were teammates in LA and won championships as players in Boston. It'll be interesting to see how these 2 powerhouses will try to make their mark and mark their names into the history books. That's all I have for sports, but be sure to follow for more of your favorite sports updates to follow us at NewsWatch_UM. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Torry. Up next, find out which famous ship is being replicated and will sail again in a few years.
This news is only the tip of the iceberg, but your heart will go on after this next story. Stay tuned.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
Well, it doesn't feature Jack or Rose, but a replica of the Titanic is set to embark on its maiden voyage in 2022. The construction of the Titanic II was put on hold a few years because of a financial dispute, but now USA Today is reporting that the $500 million project is back on track.
The ship will feature the same cabin layout as the original. The Titanic II will sail from Dubai and then trace the original's route from Southampton, England to New York. The new ship will also carry 2,400 passengers and 900 crew, nearly the same as the original. It will also be equipped with modern navigation and plenty of lifeboats.
Well, that's good to see that they'll be having lifeboats, but are we going to need lifeboats for any of this rain that's coming our way, Gavin?
Fortunately, we're going to have a little bit less rain than we would expect. The only rain we're going to get is on Thursday.
All right, thank you, Gavin. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Kassidy Biss.
Be sure to join us here again tomorrow night at 5 and on NewsWatchOleMiss.com. I'm Lauren Conley. Thank you and good night.